Hello everyone, Marcus Tenlau here, your worldly unacknowledged genius. I just saw some videos by Manifest Like Mum on IG, and I want to not only distill the best truths of those videos, but also to qualify them with further truths. Now, I'm quite experienced in terms of concepts, and nothing is very new to me, including what she said, but she crystallized a lot of thoughts which were quite important. Now, in her best video, she said that flexibility and not strength, and not anything else like how long something's been there, is the best indicator that something is going to prevail in any system, mathematically speaking. And I agree with that. But the other question that I want to add to that is: does a being, such as myself, want to exist and prevail as long as possible in that system? So there are moral and ethical nuances to this question of prevalence in a system, and we need to think about whether living in a world which is decrepit and wasteful is actually our objective, right? So my tenet from 2000, number 4, where I said that sexual inclinations need societal support, is one of the great complements of this revelation about prevalence and flexibility. Because when you are trying to have fun sexually, you should be very, very considerate of what's going on around you. And if you're not, then that's not only inflexible, it's also unethical in the instance where you actually do procreate another being. And we all know that all these questions about abortion and and termination of life, which are driving some people crazy. Now, if I've been just being too quickly in explaining things, I would just going to link in the description the video that I watched, and you can try and reference that and get back to how I'm trying to explain this. Now, the Pareto principle was also explained in one of her videos, which is the idea that 80% of your productivity comes from 20% of your ideas. Now, I have a few things to say about the Pareto principle. One is that when you are starting out as a thinker and as a doer, that is not always the case. You are much more aware of things as a child, and you are processing things much more readily. So it's about maybe 40-60, 50-50 even. And the Pareto principle knocks in when you are more specialized in certain things. Because what are we actually trying to measure in terms of achievement? Whether it's like things in economics or computer science or something, all these things are specialized, and the Pareto principle comes into play especially when you are specialized. Now, once you know the full game of things, the full game of life, Pareto principle also dials down after you understand that. So, if you understand the entire gamut of poetry, for example, and you have these disparate ideas or flecks of emotion in words, eventually your output will be very good, such that maybe 50% of everything that you write has a great amount of value to it, and you decide what you want to put into the next poem, right? Because your filtering system is very, very efficient. So the Pareto principle loses itself at the higher level and, as I mentioned, at the lower level. But they don't tell you that because 80-20 sounds pretty chic, and it sounds like, very easy to understand, and it's sort of fashionable, but it's not always true. So that's Manifest with Mum's best ideas from her videos that I watched. And she may have some other good ones, but a lot of them are variants and unqualified claims, that sort of thing, which you need to be careful of course. Now, the fact that I am a person with very few followers, I don't pay for followers or promotions for my videos. I'm one of those unrecognized geniuses who just float around the world, so I'm happy with that. And based on one of her other observations, that what we measure in terms of success is very, very minuscule anyway. I'm happy with my life and the way it's turned out. So, sucks to everybody else. Bye.